Jesus, it's big. There's a bucket, the only bucket I could get. We had proper showers rather than just quick washes, and it feels incredible to be clean. Welcome back. Skua and her crew are off the coast of Morocco on the North Atlantic Ocean en route to the Canary Islands. It's early February, so the air is cold and the weather unsettled. This is the first leg of our Atlantic crossing. It's day 3 and it's been a pretty cloudy and foggy passage so far, but today the sun finally comes out. Good morning! We have the best sailing conditions of this passage yet today. About 13 knots apparent and we're doing over 5 knots. Skua is absolutely loving the conditions. Light wind, no waves, just a very slopey, gentle ocean swell. And oh goodness, we really needed it. We've been pretty much in fog for the past day and a half or so. It was really getting boring. Dampened our mood a little bit. It didn't help that I wasn't feeling well at all. Had really strong headaches and no matter what I took it wouldn't go away. But it seems like the sun, the wind and the crew are all back. It's a really stunning day. I am so happy.
I don't think I've ever been more comfortable on a boat. The movement of the boat in the last 3 or 4 days that we've been sailing, like it hasn't interrupted being able to do anything. Like we can cook, eat, sleep, go to the loo, move around the boat. It's just like no impediment at all to living on the boat when it's this comfortable. And I don't think it was ever this comfortable in the Med except when we were in the lee of an island. It was almost definitely never this comfortable on Kittiwake unless, again, we were like right next to an island and there was no real sea. But we're sailing into the wind. The wind's at an angle of about 45 degrees offshore and it's amazing. We're doing 5.5 knots, 5.3, just cruising along, super comfy. Now the sun's come out, it's really warm. Really lovely day to be out here, and it's making me really excited about sailing across the Atlantic. If it's more days like this, it's just going to be really good. I know it'll be downwind rather than into the wind, so it'll probably be more rolling rather than just being heeled over. But I'll try and capture the boat movement to show you how little it's moving. This afternoon the wind's been turning more and more to head us. It's been coming round more directly onto the nose, so I've been tightening up the sheets. The boat's still not heeling too much, which is nice because the breeze isn't too strong and she's really loaded up with loads of stuff. But what I'm hoping is that eventually the wind will turn so much that we can then tack and then make our course exactly. So you can see that's us. This is a tanker we've just passed, and the wind is making us bend more and more round, and now we're pointing nearly due west. But our course, we actually want to head down this way. So hopefully the wind, which at the moment is kind of coming from here, hopefully eventually it'll bend round to here, and when we tack we'll be going straight down on our course. The plan for letting the wind bend round and the course with it worked out pretty well. So it's bent by about 30 degrees, maybe 40, yeah, about 40 degrees. So now we're on a pretty good course, definitely much better than if we'd stayed on the other tack and gradually gone further and further away from pointing at our destination.
It's a quiet evening until a pod of dolphins shows up to play with Skua's bow. I'm on my first night watch of night number 3, and so far we've had really good sailing conditions, up to 20 knots apparent and minimum about 16, and we've been doing 4.5 to 5 knots with all the 3 sails completely out. We are close hauled, so the waves are slowing us down a little bit, but just as I picked up the camera the wind has died down to 13 to 15 knots. So we are doing 3.5 knots of speed. And yeah, it's a really nice night. There's finally good visibility. So it's the first night that the radar is off and we can actually use our eyes to keep an eye on the ships around us. And I've seen nothing so far, which is quite nice. This has definitely been my favourite day of the passage so far. We've basically been beaten into the wind for the past 24 hours, but because it's light wind, let's say 10-12 knots, and then we make the rest of the wind, so 15 to 18 knots. Yeah, the waves are really small, there's a gentle swell, and yeah, it's been really comfy. This afternoon I managed to even do some work, did some editing, of some articles, which is kind of nice because I don't have to worry too much about getting to the Canaries really fast. And yeah, Ryan was playing the guitar, so we got some time off sailing, which we find is really nice when you're on a long passage, not to just be either sleeping or sailing, but to actually have some me time and just do something else to take your mind off the sailing. We find it really, really lovely.
It's been a bit of a tricky night, especially for Elena. We're just beating into this 18 knots of wind, but as you can probably see behind me, it's not that choppy or anything. So Elena's down below sleeping now. She needs a lot of sleep, and I got a fair amount. I've just had a coffee and the sun's just come up. It's another cloudy morning. I don't know why I was expecting it to be nice weather, but I guess it is early February in the North Atlantic, so maybe it's normal for it to be this cloudy and foggy and damp, but hopefully it'll get nicer further south we go. When we're using our hydrovane, we have to lock the tiller in position, and obviously we put that in a particular spot to balance the boat so that the hydrovane's really only just kind of like doing little corrections, and this is kind of like static but still kind of steering the boat a little bit. So at the moment it's a little bit to port to steer the boat up to starboard, because in these conditions we have a tiny bit of lee helm, which I think is why the autopilot was struggling a bit last night. But the hydrovane is fine with it because you can just correct it with the tiller, and then the hydrovane just works away. You see the hydrovane in the background up here. So the way I've found is best to lock this off is actually to just put a couple of wraps around the tiller and then tie it off on either side. So it's tied up to a cleat here behind me and one over there, and then that way if you need to make any adjustments you just hold the tiller and then you can turn these just like as if you were kind of like easing out the lines on a winch, the line on a winch, and then that way you can kind of keep it very adjustable while at the same time locking it in place. 2 wraps or 3 wraps works quite well. And then I've just got the line tied off on a cleat with a I'm not sure what the right term is, I think midshipman hitch. It's basically a loop made with a rolling hitch, because then if you need to slacken it off quickly you can just do that just by pushing the loop down, and then that way you get more easy tiller movement. Say if I saw a crab pot or something, I could quickly just like push that knot down, it would close that loop and make the line longer, and then I would have more freedom with the tiller to move around. There was just a big wind shift in our favour. I looked down at the autopilot where it displays our course over ground, and we were doing 260 degrees, so the boat had just moved round to starboard by about 50 degrees just out of nowhere, which is quite surprising. Maybe it happened over like 5-10 minutes and I just didn't notice. So yeah, I bore away a little bit. The wind's now a bit more free, it's not quite so on the nose, and we're making the exact course we want to, which is really nice, and it means that we can move away from the Moroccan coast as well. Good news, when the sun's out, hydrovane steering away. Yeah, nice day so far.
It's day 4, and as you can probably tell, we had proper showers rather than just quick washes, and it feels incredible to be clean, completely, fully clean. The wind is finally from a really good direction and pretty consistent, which is the first time really we've had it. It's been very variable and kind of gusty but still light, so anywhere between 10 and 18 knots, but not consistent. Whilst now we are properly making progress, so it's gonna be a long a long passage to the Canaries, but it's been really enjoyable. Had a bit of a tough night last night, had to tack I think 3 or 4 times on my own on my watch, which was okay, but a couple of times it was due to being on a potential collision course with what looks like fishing boats, and yeah, it's never nice when you've got to do everything on your own at night and you are like under pressure. But hey ho, practicing my tucking single-handed, which is pretty good. And yeah, it's a lovely day. The sun is out. If you hang out in the sun, you don't even need a jacket, which is amazing. And Ryan's just gone down to have a bit of a, I don't know if he's gonna have a nap or if he's just going to relax and watch something, but down below on the sea berths it barely feels like the boat is moving, so it's pretty incredible. Did you want me to pull in a headset?
Yeah. It's like a Dorado.
Dorado, nice. Jesus, it's big. My God. No, yeah. Oh my God, I hope it's not a shark. Okay. Oh yeah, it is. Wow.
Longfin.
Wow, longfin. Oh my God. He's giving it his all.
Okay, I need the...
It's hit. Oh, shit, I hit myself.
Oh no.
It's hit.
Oh, which one got these fenders in, huh?
Okay, I've got this. Wow. Wow.
Within 3 years?
Yeah, just behind you there's a bucket, the only bucket I could get.
It's huge.
Oh my God! Oh. No, it's in the bucket!
Oh. Yeah, I'm amazed I managed to lift that out of the sea.
With a gaff.
Really helps, you know.
God, it's like the ones you see in the shops. Are you done filleting yet?
I'm halfway through. It's huge. Absolutely massive.
A massive beast.
We haven't caught a tuna for a while. Only mahi-mahi, and they're much skinnier.
Yeah.
And this thing is...
a lot of flesh on him.
yeah, it's going to be a lot of meals.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Enjoying our channel? Subscribe and click the bell button to get notified of a new video going live. It takes us time, gear and data to produce these videos. If you like, you can show your appreciation by becoming a patron or by sending us a casual PayPal donation. Find out how in the description below.